The public defender is a public servant employed by the community and responsible for giving legal aid without cost to any person who seeks it and is financially unable to employ private counsel. It is his duty to defend those accused of crime until the issue is decided in the court of law. The case you're about to see is about a young man who traveled more than 6,000 miles to find freedom, only to end up behind bars.
Operator, get me the police department, please. Hello, police. I have just killed a man. Yes. I'm Erich Bachman, 7325 Latrona Drive.
I was appointed to defend Erich Bachman on a charge of murder.
I have nothing to say.
Mr. Bachman, if I'm to defend you, you must help me. You must tell me something.
No. I have nothing to say.
Following my only lead, I went to Erich's home. The young woman who answered my ring was no more cooperative, but I was certain she knew more than she was willing to tell. Our investigation seemed to be leading us nowhere, until one day.
Mr. Matthews?
That's right.
Jeff Thomas.
Government. Come in, Mr. Thomas. Would you sit down?
Thank you.
What can I do for you?
I understand you're handling the Bachman case.
I've been trying to help the boy, but there's nothing much to go on. I don't think he said more than 10 words since he gave himself up.
There may be a reason for his silence.
What kind of a reason?
He doesn't know enough about the case to offer any defense. Only his sister and my office know the facts. Maybe I better start at the beginning. Erich and Wanda Bachman are refugees.
Jeff Thomas' story told of the hectic days a few years after the war. Armed guards protect the border. On one side, freedom. On the other, harsh regimentation. There were those who fought against this injustice, and those who felt their only escape was to cross that barrier to freedom. Foolhardy thing to do? Perhaps. But Erich and Wanda were young and brave and had their lives before them.
Halt, halt, halt! Halt, halt, halt!
But it did not deter him or his sister from accomplishing their goal, America. They took residence in a Midwestern city, and after the required time, both were granted their final citizenship papers.
Mr. Bachman?
Yes? Is there something I can do for you?
I am Hans Oberlander. I was told to look you up when I arrived.
I'm glad to meet you, sir.
I've just returned from a visit to the old country, not far from where your father lives.
My father?
Let me put these down somewhere.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any place is all right. Please sit down. You said something about my father. You saw him. He lives.
I saw him less than 3 weeks ago.
You're certain? You're sure it is Paul Bachman, a teacher?
Well, he is not a teacher now. I think he is a janitor in a furniture factory. But I am certain it is he. When I told him I was returning to America, well, I had to pass. I had been living in New York for several years before I went back.
He's all right. I mean, did they do anything to him?
He looked quite well to me.
Almost 8 years we haven't heard from him. We were sure he was dead.
He's very much alive, I assure you. And he talked of nothing else but you. And is it Wanda, your sister? His children.
We're still trying to get him out. But the State Department, they tell us they have not been able to get much satisfaction.
I know what you mean. They never give out information.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Oberländer.
No, call me Hans. I feel we are good friends already.
We are. You brought me wonderful news. Come inside of the house. We can talk much better in there, and it's much more comfortable.
I'm sorry, I'm late, Erich.
Wanda, meet my very good friend, Hans Oberländer.
I'm happy to meet you.
Hello.
Brace yourself. I have big, wonderful surprise for you.
Surprise?
Wanda, Father is living. Hans has been telling me about it all afternoon.
I knew it. I told you, Erich, but you wouldn't believe.
I saw him just a few weeks ago. He sends you his love.
One of our letters got through to him. That's why Hans could find us.
The letter was well worn. It must have been read 1,000 times.
It was the one you wrote, remember, when we rented this house 3 years ago?
Oh, it was so nice of you to come to tell us. We have waited so long to hear.
You are everything he said you were. Prettier.
Tell me about Father.
Well, questions later. We must give Hans strength enough to answer them. He must have dinner with us. With wine. Californian wine. Everything American. You know, Hans is a citizen, too. Now for almost 2 years.
Wonderful.
That was a wonderful dinner.
The best part about it was hearing all about Father.
I didn't know how late it was. I haven't even registered at the hotel yet.
Well, Hans, why don't you stay here?
Oh, I couldn't.
Well, why not? We have an extra room. It's very small, but I'm sure you'd be comfortable.
Well, I wouldn't want to be in the way.
You have brought us very good news. You are welcome in our house.
They were happy, Wanda and Hans. Hans' stay lengthened into 2-3 weeks. On Saturdays, when Wanda had a day off from the defense plant, they went on a picnic. It wasn't long before Erich realized what was happening. It was obvious Wanda was falling for the attractive visitor.
You know, Wanda, I've been thinking.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a way of getting your father to America.
Yes, Hans? How?
I know some people who might be helpful.
Oh, but we have tried everything. We have written letters. We have tried the State Department, the immigration authorities. We have talked to anybody who would listen.
Yes, but I think that the people that I know would see to it that your father got across the border safely.
I don't understand.
Well, maybe I shouldn't suggest...
Oh, please, Hans, tell me.
Well, these things have happened before. I mean, you could sort of trade information for his freedom.
Hans, you speak in riddles.
Oh, it is no riddle. You work in the electronics plant. I am told that they are experimenting with new radar and plane detection equipment. And if you could deliver them the plans for it, these people tell me they could deliver your father in return.
Oh, I couldn't.
Yeah, they probably have the secret anyway. Some people always profit by these things. It might as well be you. And I know how much you and Erich want your father with you.
No.
He wants so much to see you.
I'm all mixed up. Don't know what to think or say.
It would be so simple for you. You work in the duplicating department. You have access to all the blueprints. I would even be able to help you. Perhaps I could get in sometime.
I don't know. They would free my father?
I am certain of it.
awful thing. Oh, he's such an old man. I would want to see him, to have him with us before he dies. Erich must never know. You must promise.
Of course I promise. Erich must never know.
Wanda Bachman didn't sleep that night. Her father was dear to her. So was her new country, the freedom she and Erich had always wanted. The next morning, Wanda Bachman hurried into the federal building.
I thought I loved him. We seemed to have so much in common. And then there was my father. It's been years since Erich and I have seen him. He thought I was going to help him, but I couldn't, even if it meant my father.
Hans Oberlander, alias Robert Decker, alias Joseph Good. Suspected of arson at the Lee Chemical Plant in Jersey City. Sabotage of the Northern Aeronautical Industries at Evanston. Inciting a riot at Smithson Ball Bearing Company.
You know about Hutz?
We know Mr. Oberlander very well. He was followed to your home. We have daily reports on everything he's done. And ever since he moved into your home, your brother's fix-it shop has been under surveillance. You have been watched closely at your work.
Oh, believe me, Mr. Thomas. We have not done anything wrong. Well, we've tried to be good citizens.
I know. But since he moved in, we had to be sure. His stories are lies, all of them. He never applied for citizenship. He's only been here 6 months. He was told to contact you because of your work at the plant and because they know of your father through letters they'd intercepted. Miss Bachman, your father was executed 3 days after your escape. I'm sorry. He went quickly. There were others who suffered a long time. Water?
No, thank you, Mr. Thomas. But if you knew so much about Hans, why hasn't he been arrested?
We could have deported him months ago.
Care what you do with him, but get him out of my house. I never want to see him again.
It's important to our country to find out the men he's working with. You, Miss Bachman, can help us.
I?
He trusts you. We need you.
I'd like to, Mr. Thomas. But how?
Think it over carefully, Miss Bachman. This could be a very difficult and dangerous job. And I wouldn't want you to plunge into it without knowing exactly what could happen.
But I want to, Mr. Thomas. I must.
Good. Now then, there are several things that'll have to be straightened out. First of all, no one must know of this, not even your brother. You'll contact me here, except in case of an emergency. For that, you'll have a private telephone number.
Hello, Erich.
Hello.
Has Hans come home yet?
Hans? I don't like the way he acts. Maybe Wanda would like to talk to you seriously. Hans has been here for a very long time and...
Not now. I don't want to talk about it now.
You have something better.
Oh. I did not know that you had company.
Wanda, I want you to meet some friends of mine. Mr. Mueller.
How do you do?
And Mr. Grutter.
How do you do?
Child, Hans should consider himself fortunate working with you. Tonight, same place. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Grutter, he is the important one. I have already spoken to him about your father.
What did he say?
Once the plans are delivered, your father can cross the border.
Good.
Do you think you can get them?
They're not finished yet, but when they are, I will get them.
You are wonderful, darling. Oh, come on, some cooperation, sweetheart.
It's getting late. What about dinner?
It'll only take a few minutes. We're having shots.
I hope you don't mind being your own cook tonight, Erich. Wanda and I are going to a party.
Every night. We are never together anymore. She should have time to rest, too.
It's all right, Erich. I feel fine. I would love to go.
Put on your blue dress. That is the prettiest.
All right, Hans. Who is it?
Erich.
Oh, come in. I was just going to bed, Erich.
If you can stay up this late, 5 minutes more won't make much difference. I've been trying to talk to you for days. You've been avoiding me. Why?
Oh, please, Erich.
I don't like it. He came here as a friend, but now I don't know. He acts as if he owns you. What does it all mean?
You're dreaming things, Erich.
Dreaming? He was going to stay for a week. Now it's been almost a month. Where does he get all his money? He bought a new car. He takes it to nightclubs. And all his friends, his secrets.
Oh, I don't know, Erich. I don't know.
I don't like it. Whatever it is wrong. I'm going to tell him to go.
No, Erich. No.
Listen, Wanda. I'm your brother. I don't want to cause you any unhappiness. But there's something about him...
Stop. I love Hans. We are going to be married. These are the men I've met. I've tried to describe them, too.
Good. Anything else new?
Hans is getting impatient. He keeps talking about the plans.
I have them for you. At least the ones we want to fall into their hands.
Do you want me to give them to Hans?
Up to him, to the whole group.
They're coming over tonight.
What time?
8 o'clock at my house.
Fine. You give them the plans. Leave the rest to me.
Hello, sweetheart. What's the matter? You look as though something had happened.
I got the plans. I got into the files just before they closed it.
That's wonderful. Let me see them.
No. I want to be sure they keep their promise about my father. I want to give them to Gruber.
All right. They'll be here in a few moments. There's a special meeting.
But you said 8 o'clock.
They're on their way here now. Why don't you make a bite? I'm going to clean up.
Bela speaking. Hello?
Wanda, no towels.
I'll get some for you.
Phoning somebody?
I was checking the time operator. I think my watch is slow.
It is 6:55, darling. I always know what time it is.
Better get things ready.
Something light. We will feast after we are finished. Gruber should be here in a few moments.
The meeting is earlier, Mr. Thomas. In the next few minutes. I thought I would be too late. Good. Goodbye.
Who are you phoning?
It was nothing. Just a friend at the factory about to work tomorrow.
It is Gruber and our friends. Come.
You need have no concern, Miss Bachman. You rendered a great service, not only to yourself, but to a cause worthy of your fine efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Gruber.
I told you we could depend on Miss Bachman, didn't I?
Yes, Hans. You have a remarkable capacity for judging human nature. And now, Miss Bachman, would you be kind enough to hand over the plans? Yes. It is what we want. You have been very cooperative, Miss Bachman. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you. But what about my father? You promised.
Your young lady has done splendidly. I think she's deserving of something very special this evening. This lovely country, good roads, too. A ride to the beach or up to the hills. You know all the scenic spots, huh?
But I did everything you asked. Why, those plants are very valuable. I could have gotten into trouble. I still could. Please, Mr. Gruder, I'll do anything you ask. I'll work for you again. I'll do anything.
Good night.
Gruther, Mueller, you're under arrest.
Hans, don't I mean anything to you? You told me you loved me.
Why not? You are a very pretty girl. Let her go, Hans.
Operator, get me the police department, please. Hello, police. I have just killed a man. Yes. I'm Erich Bachman, 7325 Latrona Drive.
I didn't interfere in the matter at that point because there were other members of the spy ring we wanted to round up.
Then Erich Bachman is not aware of your activities in this matter at all.
It's been a confidential file up to this moment. He doesn't even know his sister was working with my department.
You still think she's a spy and a traitor?
You straighten him out on that point. I think he'll talk readily enough.
Well, thank you, Mr. Thomas. I don't know. Oh, you said that your files on this case were confidential up until this moment.
I'll make available to you any information you need to free your client. If ever there was a case of justifiable homicide, this is it.
Thank you. Jeff Thomas was right. Once Erich Bachman knew his sister was still a loyal citizen, he talked plenty in his own defense. I had no trouble getting an acquittal in his case. The case you have just seen was brought to a fair and just conclusion through the efforts of a public defender.